All right, so like magic, it's up on the board. Here's the first example of assignment 15.2. And we're just going to do a straight up analysis. So we look at our key, we've got two sharps. So we've narrowed it down to either the key of D major, what we're starting in, or it could be the relative minor of D major, right? So it could also be B minor. We know it's going to be one of these. Now, to help us out, let's figure out our relative keys right away while we're doing this. So, if we add a sharp to D major or go up a fifth, we get A major. All right, so if we move to the right, or no, to the left in the circle of fifths, if we go clockwise, right, we're going to go to A major. If we go counterclockwise and take one away, we're going to go to G major. All right, so you've got two sharps, three sharps, and one sharp. Now, if we do the same thing for the minor keys, we have B minor, we go up a fifth, right, to F sharp minor, which is also the relative minor of A major. And if we take one away and go to the key of one sharp, the relative minor of G major, we will have the key of E minor. All right? So these are our possible modulations when we're dealing with this modulation. So let's start analyzing. So let's take a look at our first key. We've got a D on the bottom. So we've got D, F, and A. So D major chord, pretty clear what this key is. Analyze this as a 1, call it D major. All right? And then from there, we have another D, F, A with a D. So 1 again. Root position, no inversions yet. All right? Next chord, we've got a G, a B, G, and D. So put that all together, G, B, D. In the key of D major, a G major chord would be a 4 chord. So nothing too crazy. But now, check it out. G sharp all of a sudden. So let's put this chord together. We have a, oh, and I'm missing a note. Lovely. Oh, no, I'm not. There we go. So we've got a G sharp, we have an E, and a B. So if we put this into snowman form, we've got an E, G sharp, and B. So let's go back to our relative keys. And remember, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. What's going to have a G sharp in it? Well, it's going to have to be something with 3 sharps, right? We've got Father Charles goes. So this wipes out G major, obviously, because if we're in G major, it's going to have to be a G natural. And it's also going to wipe out D major. B minor does not have a G sharp in it, no matter how you phrase it with all the various minor key signatures, because G sharp is not a leading tone to B minor, nor is it the raised 6th. So that's out. Now we're left with A major and F sharp minor. And the chord next to it will definitely confirm which one it is. So let's take a look at it. So we have an A on the bottom, an E, a C, and then I would call this guy right here a passing tone, or actually, I would call him a suspension left over from this B. All right, so we've got an A, an E, and a C. So my suspicions tell me that we've now modulated to the key of A major. So we've got A major. Let's try it and see what this works out to be. So in the key of A major, E, an E major chord is going to be the 5, right? If we kept analyzing this in D major, an E major chord would function, you would write it as a 2, like this, right? So, oh, and also we're in first inversion, right? Because the G is in the middle. So the third is in the bass. So it's a 5 first inversion dominant chord. If it were in D major, we'd have a 2 a major 2/6 chord, which we know can't exist in a major key signature, right? So doesn't exist. Therefore, it's also not a pivot chord because it doesn't naturally exist in the key of D major. We know then it must be probably a chromatic modulation, all right? We're guessing, but let's keep going. All right, so we've got our A major chord. We'll analyze that as a 1, and the rest of this analysis will just probably confirm that we've moved to A major. So we've got our next chord is going to be let's see, we've got an A, a D, and an F. So we've got probably D, F, A, right? In the key of A major, that's a 4 chord. So nothing too crazy. And it's going to be first inversion because our F sharp is, our third is in the bass. So 4, 6. Next chord, we've got another G sharp, which pretty much confirms that. And we have let's see, we've got an E, a B, another E, and our G sharp right here. So we call actually this A is probably a suspension from this note. And the D, I would say, probably functions as a passing tone, right? So we've got an E major chord, which in the key of A, again, is a 5 chord. And it's in root position. And then finally, last but not least, we've got an A, C, E, and A. So 1 chord. Okay? So that's how you analyze that. And I would say we don't have a pivot chord, right? What we do have, though, is a chromatic modulation because we go from G to G sharp. So right here is our chromatic modulation. So then you would go in and you would just write over here, chromatic, and do the analysis to show your work. So that's all it is. So yeah, do 1 through 6. 1's already been done for you. And then finally, last but not least, you're going to do assignment 15.4. Sorry, 15.4. And let's see. You don't have to do any of the playing or discuss the harmonic rhythm, blah, blah, blah. I just want you to analyze the chords and indicate the modulations, all right? So just show where it modulates. I don't need to know what kind of modulation it is. You're not required to put that down. I just want to see analysis. And they do suggest, which I agree is a really good way to do it, when you're analyzing, do a macro analysis. If you guys remember what a macro analysis is, it's when you just write the chord names underneath. So if we were doing a macro analysis of this, right here, just because I don't want to rewrite a whole other problem, all right? So this would be DFA. You just write D major. D major. In this case, you've got G, B, D. So this is a G major, and then it's, yeah, just a G major chord, all right? This guy, all of a sudden, you've got E major, all right? Totally weird, doesn't belong. Here you're going to have A major, and then here, and this is going to be E major 6. Here you're just going to have a straight up, what was this? An E major? No, D major chord. D, yeah, D major. D major 6 chord, right? First inversion. Here, we go back to E major, and then finally A major, all right? So you just go through, and you see, oh, this can exist. Here's a 1 chord, right? In D major, 1, 4, and then you're like, what? This doesn't belong. This would be a 2 chord in D major, but we know we can't have a major chord that's a 2 chord in the key of D major. We'd need a minor chord, right? So D major would have to be minor. So in this case, we have our sort of modulation, and we can look here and see, oh, well, this would be 1, 4, 5, 1. If we analyze it in A major, 5, boom. Call it A major. All right? So I do suggest when you're doing all this analysis and looking for modulations, do a macro analysis, because a macro analysis doesn't require you to change keys. You're just literally putting down the chord names. So yeah, that's it. If you have questions, I will see you guys on Tuesday at, we didn't decide between 12 or 1 p.m., so I need to hear back from you on that. And so either at 12 or 1, we'll meet as a class, ask me questions, we'll go over the homework, and set you up for next week. All right. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.